Hello, everybody, and welcome into Mulcahy Stadium for the 2016 ABL All-Star Game between the Blue All-Stars and the Yellow All-Stars. As you know, there's a number of Matsu minors on these squads, 11 total, but I believe the majority coming from the blue squad, as Gage Burland was on the yellow squad, but he now makes a transition over to the blue team. And it is a little bit different this year of the All-Star Game. Because of the odd number of teams, the best way to do that is just to randomly select people from all the clubs and put them on random teams for this All-Star Game.
Yeah, and it looks like pitching coach Matt Greeley and assistant coach Joe Perez of the Matsu Miners now with the yellow T-shirts. They had the blue T-shirts on earlier, but I think they had to swap those with the players for the players who had to jump to the yellow team to the blue team. So it's good that there's enough shirts to go around as Joe Perez now trotting out. Looks like he's going to be the third base coach this evening.
It's interesting. We usually see Matsu Miners skipper Ben Taylor over there at third base, at least during the Matsu Miners games. But during the All-Star Game, assistant coach Joe Perez will be over there. And this first pitch is going to be swung on, popped up, and shallow left. And calling for this one is going to be Dalton Hurd, the left fielder. And on the first pitch of the game, Alan Trejo will be retired.
Yeah, now with a lot of coaches here to go around, Ben Taylor, who's coaching the blue team, he could just dug up this whole game and manage from there. He does not have to take over the third base coaching duties because plenty of coaches here in attendance to take up those duties.
So this brings up Matsu minor Garrison Schwartz, one of many represented here today for the Miners. The 0-1 pitch catches the inside part of plate, strike two. So Garrison Schwartz now down the count 0-2 here. Here comes the 0-2 issued by Brady Batten from the Chinooks. This one's going to be hit to right field. Steven Sensley settling under that one as he makes the grab. The defensive alignment's like this. Dalton Hurd in left, Hill in center, and Steven Sensley in right. LJ Hatch over at third, Josh Bissonette at short, Levi Jordan at second, Seth DeWitt at first, and Andy Cosgrove from the Miners as well behind the plate. So Cosgrove, Bissonette, and Levi Jordan all starting in the field for the yellow squad. Michael Donadio getting the start at DH for this yellow squad. But it's the blue and yellow All-Stars because of the flag, the Alaskan flag here. Those are the two colors represented out there, the blue background and the yellow stars, or the gold stars if you want to call it that. But Hunter Vansall now the batter from the Shugiak Eagle River Chinooks, and the 2-0 count from his teammate Brady Batten gets him to swing and miss. And that's something you're going to be seeing a lot here today. You're going to see pitchers from one team face a batter from that same team. I'm sure we're going to see that with the Miners as well. So Brady Batten winds up on the 2-1 pitch, misses outside ball three. Brad Polk calling the balls and strikes. Justin Phillips, the first base umpire. Marcus Stolen, the second base umpire. And Silas Straden over at third base. It is a 4-umpire crew here today. It's usually a 3-umpire crew, but that's usually when multiple games are going on in the ABL. And because it's the All-Star Game and it's the only game going on, might as well have an umpire at every single base. But we got a full count here on Hunter Vansall, and the payoff pitch is going to be swung on, fouled out of play. You know, it's always a very nice experience for everybody to be here at the All-Star Game. The broadcasters, I believe every team is broadcasting it for the respectful networks. Hunter Vansall misses outside, or he takes a pitch, ball four, as Brady Batten walks his Shugiak teammate, Hunter Vansall. So the first base runner of the day for the Blue All-Stars.
So technically, I guess you could chalk that up as a win for Vansall over his teammate Batten, but still technically 0-for-0 in teammate matchups here today.
So this is going to bring up the center fielder Joe Gillette. first pitch from Brady Batten misses outside ball one. Joe Gillette from the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Called a strike, even things up at 1-1. And, this is the second activity or festivity, that is, for this All-Star, I guess you could call it, weekend. The Home Run Derby took place earlier where Miner Cam Montgomery took home the crown after hitting, 32, 33 home runs?
34. It was 13
34?
in round 1, 8 round 2, 13 round 3. Congratulations to the right fielder for the Matsu Miners, Cam Montgomery.
It was definitely a pleasure calling that Home Run Derby, and it was very, very nice to see a Miner. And the runner takes off. Vansaw will get into second base. This ball gets away from catcher Andy Cosgrove.
And it was absolutely spectacular. I think we said his dad on the broadcast, actually his grandfather and a friend from back home in attendance. They were in the first row right behind the dugout watching their boy Cam go to work. And that's really cool that the man who could win the crown here tonight also has a little bit of family and friends in attendance. So good for him. That's what baseball is all about. And it was a great sight to see.
And the 2-2 pitch is going to be popped up on the infield. Seth DeWitt will settle under it and make the grab. And the side is retired, but no runs, no hits. One left on base for the Blue All-Stars. We will head to the bottom half of the first when we come back right here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miner, Levi Jordan leading things off here for the Yellow All-Star squad. It'll be Levi Jordan, Darius Hill, Steven Sensley that do up this inning. Seth DeWitt, Josh Bissonette, Bryant Harris are the next three. And Dalton Hurd, LJ Hatch, and Andy Cosgrove. And the first pitch to Levi Jordan is going to be taken for a strike. And on the mound for the Blue All-Stars is going to be right-hander Justin Montgomery. And we definitely know who he is. He's been dominant in a couple starts against the Miners so far this season. In fact, he one-hit the Miners in 8 2/3 innings before Brooks Stotler was able to get a base hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the 0-2 just misses outside as the count moves to 1-2. Justin Montgomery from the Peninsula Oilers, he so far this season is 2-2 with a 3.10 ERA, getting the nod here in the All-Star game. And the way that we understand it, it looks like there's going to be a different pitcher on the mound every inning as Levi Jordan swings and misses here to begin the bottom half of the first inning. So this brings up the center fielder, Darius Hill. And Hill takes the very first pitch, and it will be called a strike. There will be a number of minors pitchers pitching in this game, as Justin Vernia will be the next pitcher to begin the second inning, I believe, for the yellow squad. But Justin Vernia, Jacob Hughey will pitch the sixth for the yellow squad. And then for the blue squad, Trent Shelton will have the fourth inning, Gage Burland the eighth, and Jordan Floyd the ninth. As Darius Hill goes down and strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Justin Montgomery to begin this All-Star game. But he's looking like his dominant self.
Yeah, absolutely. Back-to-back strikeouts to start this ball game off. And as you were just reading off the list of pitchers that will pitch tonight, this is his only inning of work. So back-to-back strikeouts. If he could get Sensley out here, then just a fantastic showing in his one inning of work. And he starts off on the right foot with strike one.
So this is Steven Sensley from the Anchorage Bucks. He did participate in the home run derby earlier today, but he did not make it into the second round. He was my pick to win it. But like I mentioned during the home run derby after it concluded, that I'm glad he didn't, because Matsu Minor Cam Montgomery ended up taking home the crown. And I'm still amazed. That was a great performance. You know, not many people were expecting Cam Montgomery. I know some people with the minors were. I know you were, Josh Roulette, Josh Grissom was expecting him, especially with the wind blowing toward left field here today. It's definitely benefiting the left or the right-handed batters. And the 1-2 pitch is going to be swung on to first base. Jake Scudder will take it there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Justin Montgomery of the Peninsula Oilers. He strikes out the first two and then gets a 3 unassisted by his all-star teammate Jake Scudder. But we will head to the top of the second inning when we come back here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Well, we mentioned it in the first inning. We'd probably see a minor facing a minor, and that's exactly what we're going to have here. Justin Vernia coming into the game for the Yellow All-Stars as his Matsu Minor teammate Jake Scudder steps in the box for the first time today.
And doing the catching is Andy Cosgrove, so an all-minor affair here.
This one's going to be hit right up the middle. Jake Scudder is able to get a base hit, and as soon as Vernia gave that up, he glared right at Jake Scudder. But Jake Scudder ending up winning this battle. First base hit of the ball game for the Blue All-Stars. And now Aaron Shackelford will be the batter. Aaron Shackelford from the Shugiak Eagle River Chinooks as he takes first pitch, ball one. But Justin Vernia, so far this season, 4-1 with a .83 ERA. He's been lights out for the Miners so far this season. He's only given up 3 runs in 32 innings.
And Michael Donadio on deck. So after this at bat with third baseman Shackelford, it'll be another Miner versus Miner matchup as Donadio awaits.
And the 1-1's going to be swung on and missed by Aaron Shackelford. Like Dan mentions, that Michael Donadio awaits on deck. And, you know, for the players they love facing, at least for some of them, I would imagine they would love facing their current teammates. Others, maybe not so much. But I know in the van right over here, skipper Ben Taylor asked a few people if they liked, you know, the fact that they're not all on the same team. And pretty much everybody said that they did like it, as this is going to be a line to second base, but it goes right past Levi Jordan over a second. Back base hit for the blue in the bottom. And now brings up another Donadio. All-Stars, at least the blue All-Stars being Miners. 1-for-1 off Miners pitching here today. Donadio on the very first pitch sends this one out of play and into the parking lot. Michael Donadio from St. John's. Justin Vernia from Gonzaga. But both playing for the Miners here in the ABL as the 0-1 misses outside. Runners in first and second for the Blue All-Stars here with nobody out. Tyler Walters awaits on deck. As the 1-1 pitch from Burland is going to be swung on, fouled out of play again.
This is funny. I don't know who to root for. I don't know if I'm rooting for Vernia on the mound to get the out or if I'm rooting for Donadio to find one in the gap somewhere.
I just want to see some Miners successful. I don't care what it is. I know it's a little tough here. But the 1-2 pitch jams him inside.
I guess no matter how you look at the outcome, it's a win-win situation.
But it is the Blue Miners, or the Blue All-Stars. I don't know why I said Blue Miners. But the Blue All-Star team is coached by the Matsu Miners coaching staff. Skipper Ben Taylor, the coach of this one. And Anthony Hughey for the Bucks for the Yellow squad. The reasoning for these two coaches is because these were the two teams who were in the top of the World Series last season. So if you make it there, those managers will be represented or will be coaching in the All-Star Game representing their respective clubs. Ben Taylor for the Miners and Hughey for the Bucks. But a full count here on Michael Donadio. And the payoff pitch misses outside, but a pickup attempt or a throw down all the way to second base. But because it's ball 4, Jake Scudder will advance to third base. So 2 base hits and a walk here, and a little bit of a rough start for Miner Justin Vernia on the mound as Tyler Walters comes to the plate with a bases loaded opportunity here with nobody out. And the first pitch is going to be swung on, fouled out of play.
And each pitcher gets an inning. So Vernia knows this is his. This is his half of the inning. Here in the top of the second to work with. It's all his if he could get the job done here.
The 0-1 from Vernia. Off-speed pitch misses outside. Evens up the count. The 1-1 from Vernia misses high. Ball 2. Alex Seifert awaits on deck. But the 2-1 pitch from Vernia is going to be swung on hit to right field. Steven Sensley has a good arm. We'll see if they try to test him, but they're not going to test it. So it's a F9 for all you scoring back at home. That ball not hit deep enough to send Jake Scudder. So still a 0-0 score. And next for the Blue All-Stars is going to be the second baseman, Alex Seifert. Seifert representing the Peninsula Oilers. Let's see if he sends this one back to the backstop. Scudder at third, Shackelford at second, and Michael Donadio over at first. And the 0-1 misses inside. Blue All-Stars with an opportunity to take the lead here. And the 1-1's going to be hit to second base. Levi Jordan will go to second for one. Bissonette will go over to first for the double play, and we've seen that before. The double play combo of Levi Jordan and Josh Bissonette over at shortstop gets Justin Vernia out of the inning unharmed. So the Miners leave a couple stranded out there as we now head to the bottom half of the second when we come back on your Matthew Miners Radio Network. Seth DeWitt leading things off for the Yellow All-Stars as Connor Lungwitz comes into the game in relief of Justin Montgomery, who had a somewhat impressive first inning, striking out the first two batters he saw, and then grounded out the number 3 hitter, Steven Sensley. So Seth DeWitt is the batter, the first baseman for the Peninsula Oilers, playing first base here today in the All-Star game. Connor Lungwitz from Wichita State University this season. He is 2-0 with a 2.16 ERA in 41 innings. So he's a workhorse for the Pilots. And his stat line shows it too. And here comes the 2-1 from Lungwitz. This one's going to be sent into left field. That will be trouble as that will get down. Garrison Schwartz gloving that one, throws it into his cutoff man, Alan Trejo. And in with the leadoff double is the Oilers' first baseman, Seth DeWitt. So now this brings up Matthew Meyer, Josh Bissonette over at short.
Well, there goes that stable table. Anybody listening at home? The table's down. Down goes Frazier. And down goes my book bag, Lucky. No laptop within it. We have Josh Bissonette at the plate now. Don't be surprised if maybe he'll even show bunt in this scenario, but All-Star Game perhaps wanting to show he could swing the lumber with a runner in scoring position.
The 0-1 from Lungwitz down low, even the count up a 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Misses outside ball 2 now. Josh Bissonette so far this season hitting .250, 6 doubles, 1 home run, and 9 RBIs for him. And the 2-1 pitch misses down low, ball 3. Justin Vernia was on the mound last inning for the Yellow All-Star team. And it started off rather shaky, but he was able to retire the next 2 batters and got the second one to ground into an inning-ending double play. And the 3-1 from Longwitz misses ball 4. So a double and a walk to start the second inning for the Yellow All-Stars. And this brings up Bryant Harris from the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Or the Bucks, actually. So runners at first and second for the Yellow All-Star team. Bryant Harris is the batter. This one's going to be a weak tapper to the catcher, but it is in foul territory, so it will be a foul ball. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second. 2 hits for the blue squad and 1 for the yellows. This one is going to be a tough play for third baseman Shackelford, but he's able to make the running grab and throwing it over to first as well to retire Bryant Harris for the first out this inning. But it advances the runners into scoring position. Seth DeWitt over at third base, Josh Bissonette at second. And now here comes Dalton Hurd. First pitch to Dalton's going to be taken inside for a strike. The 0-1 pitch taken down low, ball 1. We're going to see Weston Rivers come on the mound for the yellow squad next inning. Weston Rivers from the Pilots. But Dalton Hurd is the man up to bat right now. And then they count 2-1. And the pitch from Lungwitz misses down low, ball 3. First base is open, so the free pass would force him over to first. And the 3-1's going to be chucked at and hit toward the Yellow All-Star bench. So a full count here on Today's left fielder for the Yellow All-Stars, Dalton Hurd. Couple RBI opportunities. Runners on second and third for the Yellow squad. And the 3-2 swung on, fouled out of play. The defensive lineman for the Blue All-Star team is Garrison, Schwartz in left, Joe Gillette in center, Hunter Vansall on right, Aaron Shackelford at third, Alan Trejo at short, Alex Seifert at second, Jake Scudder at first, and Tyler Walters behind the plate. So that's two Matsu Miners fielding. Scudder at first and Garrison, Schwartz in left. Still full count here on Dalton Hurd. As the 3-2 pitch is going to be taken outside, ball 4. So the second walk of the inning issued by Connor Lungwitz. So the bases are now loaded. So now no room for error for the Blue All-Star team. As LJ Hatch will be the next batter. And the first pitch to Hatch is going to be taken outside for a strike. Josh Bissonette on second base for the Miners. But a 1-1 count here on the Bucks third baseman. This one's going to be popped in the outfield. They might try to send the runner. It's going to be Schwartz who grabs that. He throws it to the plate, but coming home to score the game's first run is Seth DeWitt from the Oilers, and the Yellow squad now leading by a score of 1-0. So sac fly from LJ Hatch gives the Yellow All-Star team a 1-0 lead. And the next man up to the plate is going to be Matsu Miner Andy Cosgrove. So Cosgrove comes up with 2 outs, runners on first and second base. Pitch from Lungwitz misses up high, ball 1. And a check swing, but this goes right to first baseman Jake Scudder, as Cosgrove's teammate is the one to make the play there to end the bottom of the second inning. But 1 run for the Yellow All-Star team gives them a 1-0 lead over the Blue All-Star team. We now head to the top of the third when we come back on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Alan Trejo leading things off for the blue All-Star team as Jacob Hughey will be coming into the ball game for the yellow All-Star team. Jacob Hughey, a left-handed pitcher for the Matsu Miners. Plays ball at Long Beach State, and he's able to make the All-Star team here. He also leads the Miners in batting average, everybody likes to joke around about. Only playing 3 games, but hitting .462. But Hughey's had a solid pitching performance so far this season, and as Trejo sends us over to third base, Shackelford throws on over to first for the first out of the inning. Actually, that was LJ Hatch over at third base. So this brings out Matsu Minor Garrison Schwartz, and again we see another minor versus minor situation. We've seen 2 previously today. Jake Scudder getting a single off of Justin Vernia, and Michael Donadio did something.
He
walked. That's right. So the Miners so far 1 for 1 off the pitching, as this one's going to be hit to center field. It's going to be the center fielder Hill that makes the grab to retire Schwartz for the second out of the inning.
A little bit of friendly competition there, Jordan, to be able to have the Miners players match up against one another. They joke about it in the clubhouse off and on throughout the summer, but now they have the chance to actually back up some of the taunting that they do.
So the first pitch from Hughey is going to be taken for a strike, as this is now Hunter Vansaw from the Chugach Eagle River Chinooks up to the plate. So far today, he walked and stole a base. The 0-1 from Hughey, and this is outside ball 1. And Josh, I want to go back to your point for, it's where everybody can face their current teammate here in the All-Star game. It is a rather cool experience for these not just the Miners, but for every player representing their respectful ball clubs.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity for these guys to mingle with players from other teams. They build a lot of camaraderie within their own organization, but it's good for these guys to be able to talk to some of these other players, because there are some future Major League players that are on the field today. We don't know who they are yet, but it's cool to be able for them to say down the road that, hey, I played with so-and-so during the Alaska Baseball League All-Star Game, and it's a good opportunity to kind of make those connections.
So for the second plate appearance of the day for Hunter Vansaw, he will take ball 4. First walk issued by Jacob Hughey.
And Josh, you being the media guru for this Matsu Miners organization, why don't you tell everybody listening at home exactly just how hot both the Twitter, the Facebook, all the social media has been for the Miners this day?
I have not seen anything like it. My phone has been buzzing off the hook. I don't think it's gone silent for more than 30 seconds today. But that's great to see, these guys being represented, and for their schools and their coaches to be able to see them succeed at this level is a great opportunity for them. And then also to have Cam Montgomery win the Alaska Baseball League Home Run Derby was just a fantastic day for our Miners who are out there on the field.
So a lot to be happy about if you are part of that Miners fan base. Plenty of All-Stars here, both in the yellow, both in the blue. And as you mentioned, Cam Montgomery, the Home Run Derby champion, and that brings in a lot of likes, retweets, loves, you name it.
Yeah, I guess now it wouldn't be a bad time for a shameless self-promotion for fans out there. You can follow the Miners on Twitter at ABL Miners, and you can get up-to-date news, photos, everything regarding the Miners. And today, it's been a busy day for us.
Absolutely. And after that promo, we might even get a few more friend requests coming in for the Facebook or the Twitter.
And this one's going to be chomped down the third base line, but that will be a foul ball. LJ Hatch opting to pick that up in foul territory. But the batter is Joe Gillette. And the last time he was up to the plate, he lined out to end the first inning. And here comes the payoff pitch from Hughey. This one's going to be swung on, hit to left field. That's going to be trouble as it gets down. It short hops the wall, rounding third, and heading for home is Hunter Vansall. He will score as the Blue All-Star team ties things up here at 1 apiece on the RBI double by Joe Gillette.
And, Jordan, there's not much at stake in this game. It's not like there's home field advantage in the playoffs to be determined like the MLB, but there are still scouts in attendance from major league organizations. I think yesterday they talked about how the Arizona Diamondbacks, Chicago Cubs, Philadelphia Phillies, San Francisco Giants, they're all in the crowd today. And so these guys still want to succeed, and they're out there competing hard for the chance to get potentially recognized and increase their draft stock.
That's absolutely right. This is kind of the scout showcase for the All-Stars, if that's what you want to call it. But now Jake Scudder coming to bat for the Blue All-Star team. Another minor versus minor here. Hughey versus Scudder this time. Scudder was able to get a base hit his last time off of
the Vern.
Justin Vernia, the dad bod. But runner on second with 2 outs. Jake Scudder at the plate, and the 1-1 is going to be lined into right field. He's 2 for 2 today, and rounding third and scoring is Joe Gillette. So an RBI single for Jake Scudder. He's 2 for 2 here today.
How about that? 2 for 2, both off somebody on the minors pitching staff. And Josh, going back to the point you were talking about, when it comes to this showcase, you've been around a couple clubhouses, both of them being the minors clubhouse here in the ABL, where after it's all said and done, is there a little bit more of a relief feeling again where you're getting back to the grind of the regular season? You don't have to worry about showing off to scouts or partaking in any kind of special activities here in the weekend. You kind of just get back to the usual and play ball on a daily basis in the ABL where it means something standings-wise.
I think it's well, first off, the All-Star Weekend and the Scout Showcase is a great opportunity for guys to kind of take a breath. And it's a little bit more of a relaxed, looser atmosphere, especially here during the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby. And I think we were talking with Josh Roulette during the Home Run Derby, and it's good for them to kind of take a breather. It's only a 2-month season, but they are playing just about every single day, and so that can be a bit of a grind. And so when they have an opportunity to kind of take a deep breath and enjoy the festivities, they do. But yeah, come tomorrow afternoon, they'll be getting back into a game mentality and being really competitive down the stretch because we believe, 3 more weeks left?
Just about 2+ weeks, actually, but not much less than 2.
As Aaron Shackelford goes down on strikes, Jacob Hughey able to get out of the inning, but not before the blue team ties the game and takes the lead. And the blue team takes the lead on the RBI single by first baseman and Matthew Miners first baseman Jake Scudder. We now head to the bottom half of the third when we come back on your Matthew Miners Radio Network. Levi Jordan leading things off as he sends this into center field on the first pitch. And this will be right at the center fielder, Joe Gillette. So Levi Jordan over 2 today. Now brings up Darius Hill.
Struck out looking in his last at bat.
So Darius Hill up to the plate. Struck out back in the first inning. It was a good first inning for Justin Montgomery, the starter for the blue team. As the very first 2 batters, he was able to strike him out. But Darius Hill hits this now to third base. It's going to be Shackelford over at third, who throws it on over to Scudder to retire Hill for the second out of the inning. So that brings up Steven Sensley from the Anchorage Bucks.
Jordan, I'm a little surprised to see kind of the offense that's generated here early in the matchup. The All-Star games that I've attended in the past, they've been really low scoring, like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 affairs, and already we have a 2-1 ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. Most of the time it's a pitcher's dominated game, but
that's exactly what I was thinking coming into this one. I was saying to Dan, I was asking him who his pick was for to be the team's or the winner and to predict the final score. Dan said 5-3 in favor of the blue team. I said 4-2, and my reasoning was, well, the pitching in this league is way too good. I really think the pitching is going to be superior, and right now it's a 2-1 lead for the blue team. But we're back here in the bottom of the third. This one's going to be popped up in the infield. Alex Seifert makes the grab to end the third inning. So 1-2-3 inning for the blue All-Star team as we now head to the top of the fourth when we come back on your Matthew Miners Radio Network.
Top of the fourth inning here in the 2016 ABL All-Star Game. We are going around the table here, playing a little bit of a game of musical chairs. Jordan Swick steps out to enjoy the sun sign temporarily. Dan Collins still here on the call alongside media guru Josh Grissom. The count now 0-1 on the designated hitter, Michael Donadio. Fouling that pitch off, and there's going to be a new pitcher every inning. This time he's from the Anchorage Bucks, Angel Landazuri. Landazuri on the year, he has made 6 appearances, 4 starts. In his 26 and a third innings of work, 26 hits he's allowed, 15 runs, 13 of them earned, 1 walk, 26 strikeouts for the young man, has a record of 3-2 and an ERA of 4.44. So a 1-2 count we have here now on Donadio. Takes that one inside for another ball. Donadio walked back in the second inning. That was his first and only plate appearance. Swings through that one for strike 3. Just a half inning ago, Josh was telling us that the All-Star games that he's attended, both low-scoring affairs, and you would imagine that trend would have stayed the same so far this year because the pitching has been absolutely dominant, maybe even a little bit more dominant than years prior, but instead we have a little bit early scoring this year, and the ABL the last couple seasons was known for being a little more offensive comparative to this season, but yet that's so far, and this is still early on in the ball game. We're in the top of the 4th inning, but so far 3 runs early on, which is sometimes the final score in some of these All-Star games.
That's very true. And I think we've been talking throughout the summer when the hitting was going to come around, as in years past. And, to be honest, right now, Dan, I think maybe it's just always going to be a pitcher's league from this point on. I mean, most of the time it takes a couple weeks for the guys to be able to get in a groove and to see opposing pitchers a couple times in a row to get a feel for them. But at this point in the summer, when there's only like 3 weeks left, and they're still struggling as these guys, maybe just the pitching talent up here is just that good.
I'm inclined to agree with you on that one. We have an 0-2 count on the catcher, Walters. Here's the delivery from Landazuri, low and in the turf for ball 1. Josh, you got to be on the home run derby call with us a few hours ago. It was Cam Montgomery being victorious. Josh stuck around for a little bit of broadcasting duties. He was also down on the field. Don't know if you ended up. Yes, you did end up getting that GoPro out, now that I remember.
Yeah.
Taking pictures and updating the social media and whatnot. This is going to be an F3 for out number 2 if you're keeping score at home. We'll bring up the second baseman, Alex Seifert, unless there is a pinch hitter. No, that's him. Seifert coming up to the dish. But one thing me and Jordan were talking about a little earlier was how special that was for his grandfather and buddy to be in attendance here at Mulcahy Stadium down in Anchorage for the home run derby. They picked an absolute fantastic time to come check out their boy Cam Montgomery. And what does he do for them? Well, he puts on an absolute show here in the home run derby and takes the crown.
Yeah, and it was an incredible experience, and I'm sure his family absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. And I wanted, on that point, this morning I just saw a post from Hunter Simmons' dad. Hunter Simmons was a former member of the Miners and competed in the home run derby, I believe it was 2 years ago. And he was just posted about a couple of pictures from the event and posted about it and said how incredible of an experience it was, just that his son was able to participate. So for Montgomery's family to be here and see him win it all, I believe it's just got to be that much sweeter for him.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We're going to continue to talk family and baseball in the bottom half of this inning. 1, 2, 3 goes the yellow squad here. And now we will head to the bottom of the 4th. We'll return shortly here. It's on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Seth DeWitt, Josh Bissonette, and Brian Harris due up for the yellow team on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. It is the 2016 All-Star Game. These players do not have names on the back of these T-shirts. They do have numbers. It's a little confusing to keep track of what's going on, but we're doing our best up here. Hopefully serving you well at home. The blue team went down 1-2-3. I think I might have messed that up and said the yellow team last half inning. If I do, I beg your pardon. It was the blue team going down 1-2-3. Here we are with the yellow squad. As a strike there, count now 1-2. The blue team does lead the yellow team by a score of 2-1 currently. Here's the 1-2. Tries to paint the corner, but does not. So the count moves to 2-2. Last half inning, me and Josh were talking about family and baseball, how Cam Montgomery had a couple of his family and friends, grandfather and buddy in particular, watching him win the home run derby. Absolutely spectacular. And, you know, you look around the crowd here at Mulcahy Stadium, and I notice a couple of host families. Speaking of family, there's a few host families for the Matsu Miners in attendance, and that's just absolutely spectacular. Is this one hit into center field? Is it going to fall? Absolutely not. Yes, it will. That is Joe Gillette. Looked like he almost got a glove on it. So actually the answer to that question is going to be yes, indeed. In a leadoff double here for the first baseman, Seth DeWitt. Great effort out there in center field by Joe Gillette. Oh, boy. But actually there's even a couple of host families in attendance that I see today, and they are technically not even housing an all-star. I know one of the host fans, I believe it's Connor Higgins and Scooter Bynum. Their boys aren't here, but in the All-Star game that is, but they're still here in attendance rooting on these Miners. That's absolutely fantastic to see. Great support, as we mentioned, all the time by the community, even coming out and catching an All-Star game.
Yeah, and these players develop really strong relationships with their host families. I know when I was a member of the Matsu Miners in 2013, we hosted 4 other players, and we had 2 of them in the All-Star game, and the other 2 still wanted to come to the All-Star game and the home run derby as well, and our family wanted to see them succeed, and we all came to the ballpark and cheered them on. And so it's great to see that kind of support from the fans and the community in the Matsu Valley. One of the stronger fan bases, I think, in the Alaska Baseball League.
This one hit is going to find a spot in the outfield as it dribbles right in front of Hunter Vansall out there and right. So here we go. We were talking about the offense early on, and it is runners at the corners here with nobody out for the yellow squad. I'll call them the yellow squad, right? Not sounds a little cooler. Up comes designated hitter Bryant Harris. He plays for the Anchorage Bucks. He grounded out to third in his first plate appearance. This ball hit through the infield and is going to plate the second run of the ball game for the Yellow All-Stars. So a brand new affair we have here. It is Duke Kinnaman on the bump. Check that. Not Duke Kinnaman. Let me turn this roster around as I just got one. Broadcast partner Jordan Swick coming into the clutch. It's Robert Winslow on the bump. He's from the Masters College. Plays ball with the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. So we were just mentioning that no names on the back of these jerseys, but that's why I said he came in the clutch, because we have ourselves a full roster here. Names and numbers and all. So go Jordan Swick. That's a big one right there. 2-2 the ball game. The field looking like an Alaska state flag. Blue and yellow. Or is it blue and gold, technically? I'll ask you, Josh. You're technically...
Ooh, I've always been told yellow.
All right, well, there you go. Blue and yellow it is. This one getting past the catcher, but not nearly far enough. So the runners will remain on first and second.
Fun fact, Dan, the Alaska state flag was developed by a 12-year-old. It was part of a statewide contest, and he did it for a class assignment. He got a B+.
A B+, but yet it's the Alaska state flag.
He got a B+, yep.
So wait, it was a contest, and the contest was actually whoever wins, that becomes the state flag.
Yes,
And he won,
and he won.
but it was a B plus.
Yes, but for his class assignment, he got a B plus.
That is very. I almost wonder if that was kind of just like a joke, as this one comes right back where it came from, looking to third. At first was Winslow, but he'll throw it over to first. So that ground out working just as good as a bunt would have, but instead is registered as a ground out. Well, that's shocking. How many years back was this? This must have been decades ago.
Ooh, I want to say it was around 30 years ago, but don't quote me on that.
But it wasn't like anywhere near like 50 to 100. It was 30 years ago. Interesting. So it
Yeah.
would have been 80s, 70s. A B plus on the assignment. Oh, that's just harsh grading right there. This one popped up in the air, shallow right field, and the blue team has a man there to make the out, and it's much too shallow for anybody to try to advance, so the runners remain at second and third. I mean, it is somewhat of a simplistic design, all blue with those gold stars. Now, do the gold stars represent the islands or whatnot?
No, it's actually in the shape of the Big Dipper, and then on the far side is the North Star. So it's just a navy blue background with the Big Dipper and the North Star, and that's it. So pretty simple design.
Very simple, and maybe that's why I got the B plus. Regardless, runners on second and third, and digging in, he's a Matsu minor, the catcher, Andy Cosgrove. And I got to tell you, everybody listening at home, what a job Andy Cosgrove has done. We started this year with two catchers, Troy Squires, Josh Roulette. Josh Roulette being the main one. Troy Squires had to go home after about a week of play due to a hand injury. And as we said earlier on in the broadcast of the Home Run Derby, Josh Roulette now having to go home for a minor injury. He's going to rehab and try to get as ready as he can for fall ball. So now two new catchers up, one being Andy Cosgrove, the other being Zach Sharpley. And what do you know? Here we go, Andy Cosgrove as a starting catcher for the yellow team in this 2016 All-Star Game. And he's shown that he could play out of Santa Barbara Community College. And you have to be impressive when it's a next man up type of style that that being Ben Taylor, the skipper of the Miners, has here. And Cosgrove has done his job as a catcher, and Josh, as a former catcher, knows that's not necessarily easy.
No, and the Miners did a bit of shuffling around when they had those injuries, trying to figure out a way to get Roulette some rest when he was playing. And one of the ways they did that was by putting pitcher Tyler Wyatt behind the plate. Obviously, he wasn't the most comfortable with it, but he did do well in a pinch, so to say.
Absolutely, and the count now full on Cosgrove. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. There's a runner at third. There's a runner at second. The runner at third being Josh Bissonette. The runner at second being Brian Harris. Man at the dish, Cosgrove. Here's the payoff pitch to him. Swing, gonna miss strike 3. But the yellow squad is going to make this a new ball game. They tally 1 run, and that knots the score up at 2 runs apiece. So we head to the top of the 5th inning here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network, all tied up. It's the 2016 All-Star Game. We'll be back after this break. It's an 0-2 count here in the top of the 5th inning. Blue squad up. Alan Trejo, the leadoff man, he's 0 for 2. And on the hill, he's from the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. So this is his home turf. Nathan Bonk, the left-handed pitcher. Bonk from Seattle University, and he is 3-0 on the year. 1.84 ERA in his 24 1/3 innings of work. So the man can deal. That's why he's here tonight. And here's the 0-2. Inside on Trejo, ball 1. Dan Collins now alongside Jordan Swick, who in just a short while will be heading downstairs. That is where the Chugach Eagle River Chinooks are broadcasting. Jordan is going to jump on that broadcast and just tell all the Chinooks fans how awesome the Matsu Miners are.
That's absolutely right. We have the best team in the league. We have the best talent, I believe, as well. And, some of the best guys around the league playing for the Miners as well. So, yeah, absolutely. Going to be bragging a little bit. Maybe, the Chinooks had two guys at the semifinals of the Home Run Derby, but it was a Matsu Miner who ended up taking it all. So maybe
Maybe you can mention that. You should definitely mention that on the broadcast.
Absolutely.
I feel that would be a good talking point.
It would be. Why not? Be proud of that. A Chinook has won it the previous 2 years.
We are definitely proud of our boys up here in Alaska. Been doing a great job and been in first place for a while now. We have a standings board back in our broadcast booth in Palmer, and the Miners have been in first place. We haven't had to switch them around for quite some time. And Alan Trejo now is going to go 0 for 3 thanks to the sliding grab out there by his teammate Steven Sensley. So Steven Sensley in right field, robbing his teammate Alan Trejo of a hit right there. And Trejo's giving a little lookout over to Sensley there. Tip his cap and head on back to the dugout. So there you go. Trejo now 0 for 3.
Trejo shaking his head as well. And, he's coming off the field carrying his helmet, but he's all smiles, as you mentioned, his Anchorage Bucks teammate making that diving grab to rob him of a hit.
So here's Gary. It's time for the Schwartzenator. Garrison Schwartz up. 0-1 count on him. He can make that 0-2 now as he fouls that one away. Schwartzy is 0 for 2 on the day. Both with flyouts. He flew out to right field in the first, flew out to center in the third. We'll see if he can find a gap here in the fifth. This one off the glove and is rolling to the second baseman. That's Levi Jordan, safe. So Garrison Schwartz with his first hit of the ball game, it is going to be an infield single, and he was very close to being robbed by his teammate Levi Jordan over there at second base. Levi Jordan with an incredible effort trying to get Schwartz out at first. But Schwartzy possessing just a little bit too much speed. The general was on his horse there, and he made it to first just in time.
That's now 3 Miners players with a base hit here in the All-Star Game. 2 for the blue team, that being Jake Scudder, who has 2 of them. Garrison Schwartz with that first one just this last at bat. And then over on the yellow team, Josh Bissonette with a single.
This one hit in the air and is going to land. Garrison Schwartz on his horse. He's going to get to third, and into second is the right fielder, Hunter Vansaw. So a little trouble of brewing here in the top of the 5th inning. And what do you know? We've seen a little bit of offense here and there early on. It's 2-2 ball game here. 1 out. Runners in scoring position, that being Schwartzy at third, Vansaw at second. And up is Joe Gillette. He doubled and scored back in the 3rd inning. And there's a Miner, also Jordan, who doesn't have a hit, but he's been on base, that being Michael Donadio. Justin Vernia, 2nd inning. So once again, good day to be a Miner. It's always a good day to be
It's always a good year to be a Miner. Every single year.
I'll tell you one thing is for sure. After we wrap up our final broadcast, hopefully that would be a championship victory this year. I will forever be part of this Miners fan base. Here's the 1-1 with 1 out. Fastball high and outside for ball 2. And Josh was telling us when he was on the broadcast about a father of one of the players who played here for consecutive seasons. And he says, it seems just like yesterday, my boy was partaking in the home run derby. So he's still keeping track of the minors in a close eye indeed, as he knew exactly what today was. So obviously the minors will always have a special place in his heart as well. I'm sure for those of you listening at home, never forget the minors as well in this special season, 2016 down in Alaska. Shall I say up in Alaska? This one is grounded. It's going to go fair ball. The throw over to first off the glove of Seth DeWitt. Schwartz is going to score. Vansaw into third. So we'll wait and see what the official scoring is. Regardless of what they score it, the blue team once again out in front. 3-2 the score here in Anchorage at Mulcahy Stadium. So you can now credit Schwartz with both a single and a run scored.
I would have to think that Gillette will be ruled with a hit here. You know, it was a tough play for the third baseman, Hatch, over there. And, you know, that ball just staying fair as it actually hit off the base. And the base is in fair territory. So because it hits off the base, it's a fair ball, and it was a tough play nonetheless. So I believe it should go down as a single.
Believe that's exactly what's up on the scoreboard. Here is first baseman for the Blue All-Stars and Matsu Miners, Jake Scudder. What has he done so far in this ballgame? 2 singles and an RBI. 2 for 2 is Jake Scudder. Both hits coming off a Miners teammate, one being Justin Vernia, the RBI coming off Jacob Hughey. Throw over to first, and Joe Gillette is back in standing up. Runners on the corners here, 1 out. It's a 1-1 count. Jake Scudder's blue squad currently leads it by a score of 3-2. From the stretch comes Bonk. Swing and a miss off speed pitch. Scudder out in front of it. A little bit of a different camera view as usual. We do apologize. We are in a different booth this time around at Mulcahy Stadium as all the broadcasters are here broadcasting both the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. It's a good time to be at the ballpark. So we are in a different booth all the way to the far left they sent us. So a tad bit of an awkward angle. You're used to seeing a little bit better stuff whenever we're in Anchorage at Mulcahy. But we think this camera should get the job done. This one foul back. If you're watching at home, you would have noticed that one coming right past the camera, actually. So it is a 2-2 count on the Scud man. Big 12 newcomer of the year. Had his teammate in the broadcast booth during the Home Run Derby, talking about how fun it is to play with a man like Jake Scudder. The boy could really swing the lumber. Bonk is going to deliver the 2-2, and Scudder is going to hit it on the ground over to Levi Jordan. Levi Jordan will get Scudder out at first, but coming in to score is Hunter Vansaw. So now a 2-run lead here for the Blue All-Stars. So even when Jake Scudder makes an out, he still gets an RBI with it.
Yeah, it's the second RBI for Jake Scudder here today. He got an RBI single, I believe, in his last at bat. So that's a couple RBIs for Jake Scudder here today. I would say he's making a run for MVP of the ball game.
Technically, you could say that it's his 2 RBIs. That is the difference maker. This one chopped toward Levi Jordan at second. He's going to vacuum that one up, throw it over to Seth DeWitt for the final out of the top of the 5th. But the Blue squad, they pick up a pair of runs, and we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the score Blue Team 4, Yellow Team 2 on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. First pitch ball to pinch hitter Will Bass here in the bottom of the 5th inning. He is pinch hitting for Levi Jordan. So there's one Matsu Minor out of the ball game. Bass sends this one to right. It's going to get down. He is going to turn and burn now, put on the brakes, and head back into first base. So a leadoff single here for Will Bass, and a new pitcher as usual. That's how it's going to work inning by inning, is the southpaw for the Matsu Miners. He's a good one. Trent Shelton. Trent Shelton on the season is 2-0 with a 2.19 ERA. He has appeared in 5 games. 4 of those have been starts. 26 punch-outs in his 28 2/3 innings of work. And now it's the center fielder up for the yellow squad. Check swing. That being Deshaun Kersey Jr. He plays for the Anchorage Pilots. After this All-Star game, the Miners will have 2 games against the Chinooks and then play the Anchorage Pilots for a home-and-home series. So we will be seeing Kersey Jr. again pretty soon after this All-Star game concludes. Trent Shelton getting the signs. Now he's going to throw it over to first. Back in safely is the Chinooks infielder, Will Bass. He's in standing up. Shelton steering him down, now delivers to the plate, and it's a ball. So 2-2 the count on Deshaun Kersey Jr. This yellow squad is headed up by Anthony Hudding, the head coach of the Anchorage Bucks. Head coach for the blue squad, Ben Taylor, of course, his 4th straight season managing in this All-Star game. 2-2 slapped foul. Ben Taylor was talking about the other day. He has an absolute blast, calls it a privilege to not only be coaching up in the ABL, but managing an All-Star game. And that's what happens when you appear in the championship game last season. Both these coaches were there. The Bucks just edging out the Matsu Miners, who had a fantastic 2015 campaign. That one is fouled off.
It was fantastic, but unfortunately, it was a 2nd place finish because they were not playing hot at the right time. And, it just goes to show you don't even have to be the best team in the league to win the ABL title. I mean, just take a look last year. The Anchorage Bucks were that team.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3, but Will Bass is going to swipe a bag. So stolen base for Willie. And that will move him into scoring position. But Deshaun Kersey Jr. does fan. And they'll bring up from the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, number 12, as I look, Duke Kinnaman. So there you have it. He is taking over for Steven Sensley. Steven Sensley had the start in right field. So in come some of the All-Star bench players now. Want to know the count on the Duke. That latest pitch, high, but catches part of the strike zone right at the letters, says Brad Polk, home plate umpire, for a strike. 1-1 the count now on Duke Kinnaman. Shelton with a look over to second. Going is Will Bass. The throw is into left field, so Will Bass is going to get up, get on his horse, and he is going to score easily. So he goes from second all the way home there. And now that is going to cut the lead. The blue squad now leads by the slimmest of margins, 4-3, the score on the scoreboard.
That was just a very poor throw by Tyler Walters. It really wasn't anywhere close.
This one in foul territory. Scudder's there. Walters is there. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Jake Scudder for out number 2. Yeah, not only was that throw not even close, but all the way into the outfield it went, making it quite easy for Will Bass to score. Will Bass has some wheels. He slid into third, was still able to pop right back up and head home. So Shelton delivers here. This one popped up in the air. Jake Scudder giving a chase. He's definitely going to have no room. That one is a foul ball and a souvenir. Yellow team still batting here in the top of the 6th inning. At the plate is Cody Reynolds of the Anchorage Bucks. He slaps it over to short and over to first base for out number 3. So that's going to end things here, but not before one more run is plated here by the yellow squad. They now trail it by a score 4-3 as we head into the 6th inning here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Hitting for the Chugach Eagle River Chinooks in this blue squad, it is Millard who's going to ground this one through the hole. And one pitch, one out very quickly here in the top of the 6th inning. Down goes Millard, and we'll see who the blue team opts to bring up here. Swinge hitters, pinch hitters coming in left and right. And a new pitcher on the bump for this yellow squad. He's from the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, Weston Rivers. He is 4-1 on the season with a 1.41 ERA in his 7 games. 6 of them have been starts. He has 37 and a third innings of work, 29 strikeouts in that time. Has allowed 13 walks, 30 hits. So it is a 4-3 score here in the top of the 6th inning. Blue squad currently leading the yellow squad. And at the plate right now for the blue team, he's wearing number 9 today. It's Jonathan Washam coming in, pinch hitting for Tyler Walters. And a great catch right there by Cody Reynolds for out number 2. So down goes Washam on an F3 if you're keeping score at home. Very quickly, 2 up, 2 out. And up to the plate is Nate Eichhoff, pinch hitting for Alex Seifert. Well, you know, Josh Grissom knows a lot about baseball. He doesn't know too much about history, apparently. Sabrina Combs, president of the Matsu Miners, we thank her for listening into this broadcast because without her, we wouldn't have updated information. Josh telling us earlier that the Alaska state flag was designed by a grade schooler who received a B+ on the project. It was a contest. Everybody was vying to see who would be the designer of the Alaska state flag. He said it was roughly 3 decades ago. Well, that year, at least according to Sabrina Combs, actually dating all the way back to 1927, and the grade was actually changed from a B+ to an A, I believe Josh is telling me now. So I guess they saw that as a little bit too harsh. It's kind of like when you register something as an E4 but change it to a base hit. Speaking of E4, this is going to be a 4-3 ground out in a very quick 1-2-3 inning here. So we're going to get back to a little history on the Alaska state flag once we return. When we do return, it will be the bottom of the 6th inning with the blue team still leading here by a score 4-3 on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Watson leads things off for the yellow team here in the bottom of the 6th inning. His yellow squad trails it by a score of 4-3. And on the mound for the blue squad, Timothy Holgraffer. He pitches for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. He is 5-0 on the season, and an ERA of 2.22. He also has 2 saves, 24 strikeouts, has allowed 3 walks, 23 hits in his 32 1/3 innings of work. And we will wrap up that conversation again we were having about the Alaska state flag. Josh, you were way off, but don't worry. In terms of history, I'll still agree with you when it comes to Miners history, but I have to second guess and Google everything you tell me otherwise.
Man, I was really off on that one, and I guess I was thinking that maybe it had to do with Alaska being a state, but back, in 1927, Alaska was still a territory, didn't become a state until 1959.
Can I trust you on this one?
You can trust me on that one.
1959.
Yes.
I don't have to contact Sabrina Combs to verify this.
No, it is 1959. Okay. We became a state, so that's where I was getting a little off. But yeah, I didn't know it was that far back.
And that's what I was thinking too. That's why I asked. It couldn't have been that long ago, because I also had that in my mind, because Alaska hasn't been. It's still fairly a new state if you're talking, in terms of the last century or two. But oh goodness, well there you have it, Josh. We still like to have you up in the booth, and you could talk Miners with us as much as you want, or All-Star Game. We have somewhat of a dandy here so far. 4-3 the score, and a runner on first. That was Watson of the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, leading things off here with the single. Kyle Watson, of course, taking over for Miners shortstop Josh Bissonette. And up at the plate right now, it's Brian Harris, who is 1 for 2 on the evening. But still a close score. When was the last time, Josh, if you can even remember, that you perhaps saw a blowout in one of these All-Star games? Or are they typically always close?
Generally, it's always close because you have the best pitchers in the league. And obviously, you have the best hitters on the other side of the plate, but pitchers generally win the battle, even against the best hitters, 7 out of 10 times. So the majority of these matchups have always been close, and they've been low scoring. And I can't remember a game with, such a high-powered offense in a while.
So stolen base here for Kyle Watson. Still nobody out. Brian Harris at the plate. He's going to swing through that one for strike 3, though. So there is the first out of this inning. Much needed for the blue squad. Now up to the plate, it's going to be a pinch hitter. It looks like Greg Populison. And yes, indeed it is, says the man on the PA system. I recognized him from a mile away. Center fielder for the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. Speaking of the Chinooks, Jordan's gone. He's downstairs. We mentioned he was going to go jump on that Chinooks broadcast. Is this one taken over the glove of a leaping shortstop over there? A little trouble getting up with it. It's going to put runners on second and third. That looks like McCarthy Tatum having a little bit of trouble out there in left field. Couldn't necessarily find the ears on it right away. So Watson moseys on into third, and Populous doubles in his first at-bat here in the All-Star game.
Dan, that's kind of an odd play. You don't normally see a hit where you have a runner on second, and he only advances to third base, but the batter gets to second. Obviously the third base coach held him up, but didn't quite see that the outfielder had trouble coming up with the ball on the initial attempt.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that one. But Populous at rounding first had a very good read and a good eye on what was going on. So here is Tim Millard swinging that strike 2. He participated in the home run derby earlier today.
Dan, that looked like a home run swing there. He put a lot of his weight into that one.
We'll see what he opts to do on the 1-1 pitch with 1 out and 2 runners on. He absolutely lines this one very, very hard over to short. And making the grab there at short for the Blue Sky was Trey Dawson. So 2 outs now in the inning. And coming up to the plate is the number 9 man here, catcher Tyrus Green, taking over for Andy Cosgrove. So another minor down and out. 2 outs here in the inning. There are 2 runners in scoring position. That being Kyle Watson at third, Populus at second. This one grounded over to first. And it is going to be 3 unassisted if you're keeping score at home to end things here in the 6th inning. So we'll move on to the 7th. We are 2/3 done with this ball game. The blue team 4, the yellow team 3 on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Trey Dawson going to lead things off here for the blue team, who lead it by a score of 4-3 at Mulcahy Stadium in the 2016 ABL All-Star Game. And on the bump now is Preston White. He pitches for the Chinooks. He has 0-1 on the season, a 1.08 ERA in his 10 games. He also has 5 saves, has pitched in 16 2/3 innings, striking out 15 batters in that time frame, has allowed 4 walks, 7 hits. White is a right-handed hurler delivering to the right-handed hitter. And this one hit over to short. And it's going to be a 6-3 ground out to start things off here in the top of the 6th. Very quickly, 1 up, 1 down. That is going to bring up the Matsu Miners' very own Garrison Schwartz. I believe Ben Taylor was talking earlier about how Schwartz is probably going to play the whole game for the blue squad. He's going to send this one right back where it came from and through the hole into center field. So that is the second hit of the ball game for the Schwartzenator. Attaboy, Garrison. So up comes Hunter Vansaw. He's batting third for the Blue All-Stars. Right fielder, he plays for the Chinooks. Facing his teammate White now, who's on the mound. Righty versus lefty. Garrison Schwartz is at first base with 1 out here. Been a long weekend for all the players here. Scout Showcase, back-to-back nights. Home Run Derby All-Star Game today. So a whole lot of baseball being played within the last 72 hours. This one is drilled over to first, but it is going to be a 3-6 fielder's choice. And reaching first there is Hunter Van Saw. So there are now 2 outs in the inning. This will be my last inning of play-by-play for this broadcast, unless Jordan Swick decides he wants to ditch out on me for the rest of the game. Still alongside Josh Grissom, media guru. That one swing foul. McCarthy Tatum up now for this blue squad. He had a little trouble in the outfield in the last inning. The pitch to Tatum. Fastball high and outside, ball 1. The Miners will be on the road for 3 straight games. It will be Chugiak, and then in Anchorage here against the Pilots for their first 3 games. After this All-Star game, this one hit a ton in the air, but the L team has a man there for out number 3, so Tatum flies out to center to end things here in the top half of the 7th inning. That means it is stretch time, so if you're at home, grab the peanuts, grab the Cracker Jacks, and start singing along. We'll be back here at Mulcahy Stadium for the bottom half of the 7th inning in the 2016 ABL All-Star Game here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Will Bass comes up to the plate here, leading things off in the bottom of the 7th inning for the yellow team. He singled and scored during his first plate appearance back in the 5th inning. And a good man towing the slab now for the blue squad. The left-handed pitcher, Dom Bazzani. He is 2-3 on the season with a 2.43 ERA. In his 37 innings of work, he has struck out 38 batters. So averaging more than 1 strikeout an inning is the left-handed hurler. Has allowed 24 walks and 27 hits against him. But the Miners saw Bazzani down in Kenai to open up the season, him along with Justin Montgomery, blanking the Miners on the scoreboard. He's an absolute good one. Here's the pitch. It's fastball outside for a ball on Will Bass. It's an Oiler versus a Chinook here. Lefty versus lefty matchup. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's a 4-3 score. Blue team over the yellow team. That one inside, doesn't catch any part of the strike zone, says home plate umpire Brad Polk. So now a 2-2 count on the second baseman, Will Bass.
And Dan, you can tell it's a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere out here when you see a bunch of players file in and out of the dugout with hot dogs and peanuts and all sorts of food from the snack shack.
Speaking of more of a relaxed atmosphere, Josh, you actually went to go grab one of those hot dogs not too long ago. So here I am calling out my partner on air. I've yet to actually have anything to eat at this stadium yet. Grissom coming through in the clutch, bringing some granola bars back from home, however. This one hit and a diving play at first, but it's going to get through the hole and off the glove. And now going into second, there was nobody there to cover until the blue team shortstop came over. That was Trey Dawson. It was a good throw over, but he couldn't hang on to it. So that brings Duke Kinnaman up to the plate with a runner on second. And absolutely a relaxed atmosphere here and a beautiful day for baseball. Absolutely gorgeous here in Anchorage. You couldn't have asked for any better weather at all. And that goes for the whole day of festivities, both the Home Run Derby and this All-Star Game. 75 degrees and sunny if you want to check on your iPhone device. It's a 1-1 count here with one out. Pisani is coming from the stretch. He delivers. Catches the knees, says Brad Polk, for a strike. Duke Kinnaman at the dish, plays for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. They're selling, actually, here at the concession stands, sweet All-Star jerseys. They do look like a beauty. They have the yellow and the blues. Just might have to grab me one. If I do, it will be a blue one. That is the side that skipper Ben Taylor is coaching this evening.
Dan, they even have red ones from the Home Run Derby as well. Very nice jerseys. I believe it's the first year they've actually started selling T-shirts from this event.
Duke Kinnaman, it's a strikeout. He was looking, so 2 strikeouts in the inning for Brzani. And that is going to bring up Cody Reynolds, first baseman for the Anchorage Bucks here, with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. There goes the runner, the throw over, and safe. And a stolen base for Kashawn Kersey Jr. So Kersey Jr. swiping that bag now puts him 90 feet away from tying this ball game up. Yellow team batting here in the bottom of the 7th. They trail it by the slimmest of margins. Bazzani's delivery, it's a breaking ball low and inside.
Now, Dan, let's look forward to the next few games for the Miners. 3-game road stretch you talked about. The Chinooks, and then the Pilots all on the road, I think is a very critical stretch of play because, number one, they hold a 2-game lead in the ABL standings. So it's important to be able to maintain that lead while on the road. Second off, following that, they have an 8-game homestead. Out of 10 days, they play 8 games at home, mostly against the Pilots and the Bucks, finishing off with the Oilers. So the Pilots and the Bucks both vying right now for that number 2 spot. How critical do you think it's going to be for the team to come out and get at least 2 of the 3 wins on the road?
I think absolutely critical because not only will that mess around in the standings a little bit, but you have to consider that that's also how you want to start things off right after the All-Star break. You want to start things off on the right foot. And you look at a team like the Chinooks and even the Pilots for that matter, it's no knock on them, but the Miners do play them well. So you have to somewhat like your chances. It is on the road, but that's okay because the following week, it's that last stretch of the season, and the Miners seem like they're almost at home every single day. Is this one hit in the air to left field? It's going to be grabbed, and that's out number 3. So a minor rally here by the yellow team in the bottom of the 7th, but they can't play at anybody. So we now head to the 8th. The blue team still leads by a run. The score is 4-3 here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network.
Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium for the top of the 8th inning. Chris Rivera takes the mound now for the yellow team, and pinch hitting for the blue team now is Ethan Whisker from the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. Rivera's first pitch misses high. Talking to head coach Ben Taylor earlier today about some of the advice that he gives his players playing in front of MLB scouts. He said he tells them to go out there, show off your stuff, play hard, and have fun. As that one is fouled off by Whisker. And specifically, when I played for him in 2013, 2014, when he was talking to the pitchers before the game, he'd always tell them to, quote unquote, air it out. Try and light up the radar gun. And that seems to be what Rivera is doing right now, working mainly fastballs, as this one is popped up to shallow right field and will be an easy out. The yellow team leads top of the 8th, 4-3. Those 4 runs coming on 8 hits. The blue team also has 8 hits as well. And it looks like Justin Montgomery will be coming up to bat for the blue team. His first pitch is in there for a strike, and this one is fouled off. He's listed primarily as a pitcher for the Oilers. But something that the ABL possesses this year is a lot of dual threat players. The Miners have 2 of their own in Tyler Wyatt and Jacob Hughey. Both are offensive threats at the plate, as well as on the mound. I believe Hughey had 33 strikeouts before the All-Star break. And Wyatt, I believe he boasted a ERA that was under 3. Rivera looking at a 1-2 count to Montgomery. He winds up and delivers. And that is cranked out there to center field. Looks like the outfielder had a bad misjudgment right off the bat, as that will fall in there for a hit. Mason Mallard of the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks steps to the plate now for the blue team. He represents the go-ahead run if he reaches base. Montgomery could potentially tie the game here if they were able to get him around. Rivera working from the stretch. Misses outside for ball 1. Looks like Rivera's been working primarily fastball here. I don't think I've seen anything off speed yet. And if I have, it's probably just been a slider. It's got a similar velocity to a fastball. Just a little bit more break. That one misses high, and the throw down to try and get the runner, and they got him. An incredible throwdown from Tyrus Green of the yellow team to nail Montgomery. And now the bases are clear for Rivera with 2 outs. Mason Mallard now with a 2-0 count. Rivera working from the windup. Misses quite a bit outside. For ball 3. Looks like catcher Jonathan Washam is on deck behind Mallard. Rivera finds the edge of the strike zone on that one. It is now a 3-1 count. He readies to deliver in the pitch. In there for strike 2. So now Mallard facing a full count with 2 outs. Blue team needing a run to tie the game and 2 to take the lead. And he's going to get him looking there for strike 3. So we're going to head to the bottom of the 8th inning with the yellow team leading 4-3. Sorry, correction. The blue team remains on top 4-3. Ryan Lilly now takes the mound for the blue team here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He is from UC Riverside, plays for the Oilers. As that one, an opposite field home run there on the first pitch of the at-bat. I believe that was Jacob Hughey. Hughey earning that All-Star nomination as a pitcher, but showing off his strength with the bat there to tie the game up at 4-4 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
What do you know? Jacob Hughey with an Oppo Taco to start things off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It looked like that one caught you a little off guard, Josh.
It was. I wasn't expecting that.
Holy smokes.
Especially, it wasn't even, like a left center field. It was straight left field that he put the ball over that fence there. As the first pitch to Greg Pompulison is fouled off. So Ryan Lilly giving up the tying run on the mound. And yeah, just last half inning, I was talking about how the Miners have a couple of dual threat players, and Jacob Hughey showing off the bat. It's not something you see too often here at the collegiate baseball level, so to say.
Not only that, when you're talking the All-Star game, Hughey pitched earlier in this ball game. That was kind of his main role coming in. And then right here with the bat, a home run off the first pitch that he sees. So not only is he one of those rare dual threat guys, but he's an all-star. And technically, you could probably make the argument that he could have made the all-star team whether he was just a pitcher or just a batter.
Yeah, I think that's a very good argument. And he doesn't quite necessarily have as much playing time at the plate, so to speak. But, what was it, 4 games for him?
Well, yeah, he's only had a little over 10 plate appearances. I want to say it's about 12. He's batting over 400 on the season, even though it's a limited work. But regardless, the small sample size that we've seen here this summer campaign from Jacob Hughey has been absolutely phenomenal. He has not slowed down at all, especially with the extra base hits. That being his first home run of the summer. Unfortunately, it won't count in conference play.
Tim Millard driving a fastball into center field to reach base following a ground out from Populison.
Well, Josh, now we have something a little interesting here. I believe it is you told me that if this goes 9, the game ends regardless of what the score is.
And I believe they do that just as far as pitching because, you have 9 pitchers who just threw today. That's, at least like 2 or 3 from each team that, they have to take into consideration going into play tomorrow. So I'm fairly certain they'll call it after 9.
We are in the bottom of the 8th inning here. That ball getting away. So moving up an extra 90 feet is the yellow squad. So 4-4, and we are in the 8th. Unless it looks like here the yellow team could still keep going here and played another run, but it was looking all lost for the yellow squad. But you can never count any team out, let alone an all-star team. And Jacob Hughey getting it done on the mound and at the plate for this yellow team.
Tyrus Green fouls that one off. So now a 2-1 count to him. Green had that back pick to first base to catch Montgomery and to clear the bases for the yellow team defense. So with Millard on second, the pitch catches the outside corner for strike 2. It's now a 2-2 count to Green. And Dan, we've seen quite a few stolen bases, especially at third base tonight. Now with that pitch missing in the dirt for a 3-2 count, do you think Millard has the green light to go for third?
I would think almost any base runner, for that matter, has the green light because you figure these games don't necessarily mean nothing in terms of the conference standings. So with the scouts still out here, if you feel like you have the wheels to burn, why not burn them?
That one is single to right field, and Mishandling that is the right fielder.
I believe that's still Hunter Vance on the game for the blue team out there in right.
Millard comes in to score, giving the yellow team a 5-4 lead.
Now, I remember in the Scout Showcase, even if the home team is winning through, it was only 7-inning game, so even if they were winning through 6.5, you still played that bottom of the 7th inning. Is that the same for this All-Star game as well?
I believe so, just to make sure that all of these guys get an appearance out in front of these Major League Baseball scouts.
So a 5-4 lead here. Even if we go to the top of the 9th and the blue team doesn't score, both me and Josh still believe we are for certain that there will be a bottom of the 9th.
Green taking off, and he's going to get into second easily.
So he's showing off the wheels. And like I was telling you, Josh, before that RBI hit, was that if you want to go on and risk it and try to steal a base, why not go for it and show these scouts what you're made of? Why try to hold anybody back of showcasing their talents?
Exactly, and it's a prime opportunity for some of the catchers here to also show off their gun behind the plate as well. We have Andy Cosgrove of the yellow team and Tyrus Green as well. And we saw Green with the back pick earlier. Tyler Walters and Jonathan Washam are catching for the blue team, although I don't think we've seen too many attempts from the catchers to get these guys.
No, not many. I don't even know if I can recall one. Perhaps they should start. It's getting a little late for that, however, as we are in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Now, Dan, if you had told me before the game that we would see 20 hits combined against some of the best pitchers in this league, I probably would have laughed at you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, actually, is 20 on the nose, 11 for the yellow, in case you're wondering, and the other 9 for the blue team. And not only that, one reason why I would think this would be more pitcher-friendly is because these guys only come in for that 1 inning of work, so they have 1 inning to find a groove and showcase anything with these scouts. And that means for these hitters, they never come up, unless you bat around, they never come up for their second or third AB against the same pitcher. They are facing a brand new pitcher out of the bullpen every single time, and he's obviously going to be a good one because that's what they're up here for, competing in the All-Star game already.
This pitch delivered high, but swung on for strike 3. As Will Bass of the Chinooks heads back to the dugout. And it looks like Miners pitching coach Matt Greeley making his way to the mound with a little bit quicker of a step than he's known for.
And that's going to be it. They are bringing in a new pitcher, and that, my friends, is Gage Burland, the 8th inning man for the Matsu Miners coming in.
Dan, I wonder if perhaps they won't play that bottom half of the 9th inning, and that's why Gage Burland is coming into the game right now.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that is the case, too. I know Jordan Floyd, who we have yet to see, is actually not in the game as well. He hasn't pitched yet. When we first saw the sheet, it looked like it was going to be Gage Burland getting the entire 8th inning and Jordan Floyd getting the 9th. But here Gage Burland is with 2 outs in the 8th inning. And it makes me think, what if Lily would have got that last batter out? That would have been 3 outs for him. Very interesting to see what would have happened there.
Gage Burland of Gonzaga has finished warming up on the mound. He is going to face outfielder Deshaun Kersey from the University of Utah. And that one is grounded to the third baseman. The throw over to first is in time. And Gage Burland, the one-pitch wonder, sends the game to the top of the ninth. The yellow team now leading by a score of 5-4. Don't go anywhere. We will be back on your Matsu Miners Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Mulcahy Stadium. The yellow team now has the lead as they're leading the blue team by a score of 5-4. As Jonathan Washam is going to be the batter. This one's going to be hit into left field. That has a chance to get out of here, and it's gone. Jonathan Washam ties the game on the first swing of the inning, and it's a round tripper for Washam of the Kenai Peninsula Oilers.
Wow. So Washam sees Jacob Hughey's home run there and says, I'll match it, bud, here in the ninth inning. So very, very close. 10 runs if you combine them both, and 21 hits so far in this All-Star game.
Wyatt Mills was the pitcher on that. So he gives up that solo home run, and it's now a tie ball game. 5-5 is the score here as we are in the top of the ninth.
Jordan, I believe that was the exact same situation for Hughey. Leadoff batter, first pitch, home run.
Yeah, it absolutely was. This one's going to be sent out of play and into the parking lot. And Nate Eichhoff is the batter. Eichhoff playing for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots here today. But playing collegiately at the University of Virginia, as this one misses outside ball too. It's a 2-1 count.
Dan, I know you talked about Jordan Floyd being the 9th inning guy for the Miners, and he is in the pen right now warming up for the blue team.
And if he does come in right away in the bottom of that 9th inning, he will remain a one-pitch wonder. That's Gage Burland I'm now talking about, as he came out with 2 outs in that 8th inning, 1 pitch, out number 3, and back to the bench he went.
The 2-2 pitch misses inside. So it's now a full count here on Nate Eichhoff. This will be a 9-inning game regardless, so even if it's tied after 9, this will be over. Could end in a tie ball game.
That would be like, what was it, the 2009 All-Star Game, 2011? I'm testing my MLB history. It was the one right before they decided that it was going to be played for home field advantage.
I feel like it was before 2009, maybe.
Might be been 03.
That would make a little bit more sense. But see the commissioner at the time opting to do that pretty earlier on in the 2000s.
I remember it was in Milwaukee, and I want to say now I'm for sure it was 03, 99% sure on that one. Paul Konerko of the Chicago White Sox at the time was actually in that home run derby against Sammy Sosa. It was the Chicago versus Chicago representation. I believe it was Konerko going a little farther in that contest.
Well, this brings up Trey Dawson here today. Dawson from LSU, playing for the Peninsula Oilers. But Nate Eichhoff over at first base here. Nobody out on the 1-0 pitch. Catches the outside part of the plate for a strike to even things up here. You know, All-Star games are kind of tough to broadcast here because there's so many changes going on. So you always have to be on your heels.
And actually, where there's the most changes, which is on the mound, those are actually the easiest ones to spot. The hard ones are the ones that kind of come out of nowhere, both as a pinch hitter or a defensive replacement.
Kind of makes you question if you got it right earlier in the ball game, if they came on in defense or if they're actually pinch hitting during that at bat. But this one misses ball 3. It's a 3-1 count now. On Trey Dawson. And the 3-1 pitch catches the outside part of the plate, so he'll be right back in the batter's box here with a full count. It is currently a tie ball game. 5 runs on 10 hits for the blue team, 5 runs on 11 hits for the yellow team. So here comes the payoff pitch. Runner stays pat. This is going to be a high chopper in the infield. The catcher says he will grab it as he throws it on over to first base to record the out, but that gets the job done as that moves a runner into scoring position here with only 1 out. And here comes Matsu Minor Garrison Schwartz, who has played this entire ball game. I was kind of surprised to see him when I was downstairs broadcasting for the Chinooks. He came to bat, and he's got a couple base hits here today. I was saying on the broadcast on there that Garrison Schwartz is a guy that can pretty much do it all. He has some power. He can definitely hit the home runs, the doubles, the extra bases, anything you can pretty much name, he can do. He's an above-average defender in the outfield. He has a couple outfield assists so far this season. But he comes here with the RBI opportunity. Is this going to be hit right up the middle? But Eichhoff is going to have to freeze. So what maybe should have been an RBI single for Garrison Schwartz is just going to be a single. So that's the 3rd hit of this All-Star game for the Matsu Minor Garrison Schwartz. And it's now runners at the corners here with 1 out.
Dan, I believe it was a couple games ago we were talking about Garrison Schwartz kind of stepping up, taking a leadership role at the plate back when the Miners offense was kind of struggling to find its identity. Coming through, I believe that's either 2 or 3 hits for Garrison Schwartz here today in the All-Star game. Great showing for him.
Yeah, that was actually both Schwartz and Jake Scudder that we were talking about. It seems like they came around swinging the hot bats right in the nick of time when the Miners needed them the most, that being right after that road series in Kenai, where the Miners did struggle a little offensively in 2 out of the 3 games. But after that, you had guys like Garrison, Schwartz, and Jake Scudder in the middle of the lineup, which is where you want the most production, coming through for the Matsu Miners. And once again here, coming through for his blue team is Garrison Schwartz in this 2016 All-Star Game.
So it's a 1-2 count here on Hunter Vansaw from the Chigiak Eagle River Chinooks. Vansaw playing right field today. Will play ball at Mississippi State in the SEC. Is the 1-2 pitch is going to be swung on a miss. Hunter Vansaw goes down and strikes for the first time here today, but the second out of the 9th inning. And McCarthy Tatum is going to be the batter.
Well, do you boys think they mix the talent up nicely here? Both 5 runs and 11 hits for both squads. So it looks like they put them just about as even as they could get. Job well done here by the coaches. That would be Hunting for the yellow squad and the Miners' very own Ben Taylor for the blue team.
I know we said this earlier, but I was kind of expecting more of a pitcher's duel, and I'm sure you guys did too. Dan, I know when we were asking each other predictions for the final score, you had it 5-3 in favor of the blue team. I had it 4-2 in favor of the blue team, but it's now 5-5 here as we are in the 9th inning. But the go-ahead run is over at third base. That's Nate Eichhoff. Garrison Schwartz, the Matsu Miner, over at first base with 2 outs. So here comes the 1-2 pitch from Wyatt Mills. And that's going to be swung on, hit to second base. That might be LJ Hatch, but it could be anybody.
At this point, at this late in the ball game on an All-Star game.
Name there. It was actually Will Bass from the Chinooks. I recognize that face. It was Will Bass who gloved that and throws it on over to first base. And now we will head here into the bottom of the 9th inning. It's going to be the last chance for either team. The yellow team has the opportunity to win the ball game. If they are unable to do so here in the bottom of the 9th, this game will end in a 5-5 tie. So we will be right back here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. This one's going to get through the infield. Gage Burland still on the mound as he gives up that base knock. But now it's going to bring up Cody Reynolds. The winning run is over at first base. I imagine we are going to see Jordan Floyd come in at some point here. That is, if the yellow team is unable to win it right away. But Gage Burland coming on in the 8th inning, able to get that first pitch ground out to end the inning, which was a 2 spot. Jacob Hughey hitting a home run that inning. It was definitely great to see Jacob Hughey, the best hitter on this Miners ball club, at least in terms of batting average. And the 1-0 misses outside now. So Cody Reynolds is the batter. 5-5 is the score. The winning run over at first base. Gage Burland on the mound for the Miners. And the 2-0 pitch misses inside now, ball 3. So a 3-0 count, and Cody Reynolds takes a big hack at that pitch, but he comes up empty. And the 3-1 is going to be sent back out of play. I believe tomorrow the Miners will be heading to Chugiak to face the Chinooks, 7 o'clock. But it's a 3-2 count right now. This is the last half of the inning. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the broadcast here today during the All-Star Game as well as the Home Run Derby. This one's going to be trouble. Now we'll get down as Duke Kinnaman was running on the pitch. So he was at second base, but then was bolting to first base. But then the right fielder, Hunter Vansall, was having trouble getting to that, but it bounces in for a single and everybody's safe. So now Kyle Watson is the batter. The winning run now on second base. A base hit could end it. I'm surprised we're not seeing Jordan Floyd.
And funny thing, I don't actually know if it does end, does it? Because even with the base hit here, do they still play the full 3 outs? I think that might be the case here with the Scouts.
Well, this is the bottom of the 9th.
Right. Well, I mean, it would technically win it for the yellow squad, but I think they still play all three outs.
Right.
But technically still a win.
Technically be true. Okay, I wasn't sure what you were meaning.
But the blue team would definitely not win, that's for sure.
So this is going to go
That's
to the shortstop. It's going to be a tough play for the shortstop, and he's going to be ruled safe. A tough call there by first base umpire Justin Phillips.
And what do you know? Up comes home run hero, Matsu Minor Jacob Hughey, had a home run on the very first pitch he saw in his last AB, that coming actually last inning. So he has enough pop in that bat to get it deep. We'll see what he does here against his teammate.
So Jacob Hughey against Gage Burland, the Matsu Miners here today. It's going to be interesting to see how this ends, especially if Jacob Hughey can get a base hit here to give his team the win. I'm sure he wouldn't let Burland here at the end of days.
Absolutely not. Not Hughey.
This is for all bragging rights. And that's all they're playing for, I guess. The 1-1 pitch from Burland catches the inside part of the plate for a strike. I don't necessarily see Jordan Floyd warming up there in the Blue All-Star team's bullpen, so I believe this will be Gage Burland's game.
And Jacob Hughey, he is used to facing a teammate of his. He faces Chris Rivera a lot of the Anchorage Bucks whenever these Miners and Bucks square off, so he's used to facing a teammate.
So it's nothing any different for Jacob Hughey. But it's now a full count, so Gage Burland in danger of walking home the winning run. Bases loaded, nobody out. And the 3-2 pitch is going to be hit to second. This could do it. It will, as the game-winning run is coming home to score, but it will be a double play. The yellow team has won the ball game, and looks like pitching coach Matt Greeley will now opt to go to the bullpen. So I guess Jordan Floyd is warming up there. But the yellow team will win this. It's an RBI double play ground out for Jacob Hughey. But Jordan Floyd coming out for it to record the last out of the ball game. And we'll be right back here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. So Greg Populison coming to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth. Jordan Floyd coming into the ball game as he looks to record the last out. But the yellow team has this game wrapped up already, but they're looking to score another run at least. Greg Populison is the batter, runner on third base. As of right now, the score is 6-5 in favor of the gold team, or the yellow team, that is. And Dan, you're absolutely right in thinking that there wouldn't be necessarily a walk-off because they would play all three outs here in front of the scout here today. It was a 5-5 game coming into the ninth. Gage Burland with a little bit of a rough outing. Was able to get the out to get out of the eighth inning as this is going to be chopped right back to the mound, and that will be the ball game. Jordan Floyd just tosses it on over to first base, and that will be a final. It's a 6-5 game. The yellow team defeating the blue team. But, it's very interesting to, see these inter-team matchups, these players. From the minor standpoint, you get to see, Jacob Hughey go against a couple players. You get to see, a couple of the blue team player, Jake Scudder and Michael Donadio go up against Jacob Hughey, who was on the mound earlier. And, it was definitely very interesting to witness during this game.
Absolutely. That was actually probably one of the more fun things about this particular game is getting to see the guys like that go up against each other. It looks like there's a trophy presentation that's shortly going to take place here. Try to give you a live feed of word for word what they're saying down there. So Jacob Hughey, the All-Star Game MVP.
How about that? He actually pitched an inning earlier in the ball game.
He did. He pitched an inning earlier, and he's saying he's speechless down there, just kind of laughing it off as he stands with the trophy there. Now he's posing with it. So Jacob Hughey, everybody, the ABL 2016 All-Star Game MVP. Up comes Josh Grissom down there. Now looks like he wants to take a photo of that. Perhaps he's going to tweet it out. So the social media will be on fire once again after Josh tweets out that picture. But good for Jacob Hughey. Technically, I guess you could say his home run is the deciding factor. His solo shot and his yellow squad winning by a score of 6-5. But all in all, I would have preferred perhaps even maybe a tie game because there's minors on each team. It would have been somewhat of a win for everybody. But regardless, there's still a few winning names on that yellow squad. Jacob Hughey obviously being one of them, getting awarded the MVP for this All-Star Game, as now all the minor boys are going to get together for a group photo here at the All-Star Game. And what a great showing by them. Good job. Garrison Schwartz playing the whole game today. Jacob Hughey winning the MVP. And how do you like that? The Home Run Derby King is from the minors, and the All-Star Game MVP is from the minors. So a great day once again. We've been saying it all day long. Fantastic time to be a Mat-Su minor.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned the Jacob Hughey in that eighth inning. Yes, that tied up the ball game at the time at 5. But if you remember, in the ninth inning, he brought home the winning run. It was an RBI ground out. It was a double play, actually. But he was able to plate home his yellow all-star teammate. So not only did he hit the go-ahead, or not the go-ahead, but not only did he hit the tying home run, but he also brought home the winning run too. So Jacob Hughey, not necessarily a bad choice by any means as a pick for the MVP of this ABL All-Star Game. And, you mentioned Cam Montgomery, the winner of the Home Run Derby. It's overall a very good day to be a Mat-Su minor. Cam Montgomery looked dominant in the Home Run Derby. Jacob Hughey pitched and did a little bit of everything in this ball game, and he's definitely deserving of this All-Star Game MVP.
Yeah, surely so. That's about all we could say here. The Scout Showcase, Home Run Derby, and All-Star Game now over. It's time to get back to business starting tomorrow. That will be in Chugiak. But before that, the boys have a little bit of somewhat relaxation and final celebration to do. And two of the guys who might unwind and do a little bit of that is Cam Montgomery, home run derby champ, and Jacob Hughey, who's now going to get interviewed by the local TV station. He was the MVP of this ball game, so he has to once again hone those interview skills. We had him for an interview not too long ago, so he was learning how to do a little bit of that on the broadcast. So good job, Hughey. Good job, Montgomery. Good job, everybody here, players and coaches included, that being Ben Taylor, Matt Greeley, and Joe Perez. You tip the cap to them. And before you start the season once again tomorrow, tip your cap to these boys. Did a great job.
Absolutely. Well, that just about wraps things up here at Mulcahy Stadium. And, what a fun weekend for the Miners as well. Actually, no, just for the Miners. Let's just say that. The Miners went 2-1 in the Scout Showcase, have the Home Run Derby champion as well as the All-Star MVP. So very good day to be a Matsu Miner. But the yellow team, Victoria's here today. I'd like to thank a couple of people before we sign off here. I'd like to thank Denise and Pete Christopher for allowing us to be on the broadcast, our media manager, Josh Grissom, also for coming on to the broadcast and adding some insight. And also I want to thank my broadcast partner, Dan Collins. It was a good game here today. And, tomorrow we finally re-begin the regular season as the Miners will take on the Chinooks down in Chugiak. So a couple of away games before an 8-game homestand for this Matsu Miners, and I'm sure they're really going to enjoy that, and they definitely deserve it too. So for my broadcast partner, Dan Collins, I'm Jordan Swick saying so long here from Mulcahy Stadium. The yellow team defeats the blue team by a score of 5-4, or 6-5 actually, and we will talk to you all tomorrow night when the Miners head to Chugiak.